All right, everyone, we are live. Dr. Jack Wolfson here, board certified cardiologist. Jump into the chat box, say hello. We've got thousands of people who are registered for this call. Great to be here. So happy that you're here. I know your time is valuable. It's 5 o'clock where I am. For some of you, obviously it's later, it's earlier. But again, I appreciate you all being here. Hello to everyone who's logging in. It's a pleasure. I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson. If you don't know me, I'm a board certified cardiologist. Spent 10 years with the biggest group in the state of Arizona as a hospital-based cardiologist, and we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary at Natural Heart Doctor. So again, great to see everyone here on this webinar. Got a fantastic presentation for you. I'm not going to be able to acknowledge everybody in the chat box because so many names are coming through, familiar names, new names. Great to see everyone. And again, I've got about a 40-minute presentation for you, maybe not even that long, to be able to give you some strategies you need to stay healthy through the holiday season. And again, stay through the end of the webinar. You're going to just get a ton of information. The replay will be available to you. But again, you want to definitely pay attention because I've got a lot of great strategies when it comes to holistic heart health, again, for everyone who is on here. So again, thank you. And let's jump into it. I'm going to jump into my slides here and again, get going. And here we are. Okay. So we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be stop eating these 5 foods. And I got some bonus strategies in there as well. And we're going to tell you 5 foods to eat instead. And then we're going to tell you about a super cool course that we just released as well that can help guide you on your way through the holiday season. And of course, getting into 2023. Can't believe we're saying it. It's already towards the end of October and we're talking about 2023. So I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson, cardiologist at Natural Heart Doctor. And I want to tell you about the guy on the left who became the guy on the right. And this gentleman came to see me years ago, and he was going to have gastric bypass surgery. And he came to see me as a cardiologist and needed pre-op clearance to make sure he was safe for the surgery. Well, I said, listen, you are not safe for the surgery, but if you're going to go ahead and do it, you'll do it at high risk. And I wrote that as a note that he could. But I said, I want to tell you about this healthy eating strategy. And I wrote down all these things on a piece of paper, and I didn't see him again for 3 years until he sent these pictures to the practice and said, Dear Dr. Wolfson, I did not have the gastric bypass surgery. I've lost 300 pounds over 3 years following your nutritional advice. So the information that I gave him is the stuff that I will be giving you tonight, and then some. And again, just such a dramatic difference in the way this gentleman lives. And now, again, he can be with his grandkids and lead a productive life. So kudos to him. So again, this presentation I'm going to give you tonight is absolutely perfect for you. Again, if being healthy is a top priority of yours, I know if you're here, it's a top priority. Again, health means everything. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much security you have. It doesn't matter anything unless you're healthy. Because if you don't have your health, and I've seen tens of thousands of people who didn't have their health, health is just primo. Now, if you want to look your best and you want to feel your best, that, of course, is critical. You do want to look good because when you look good, you tend to feel good. You're more confident. But also when you are feeling your best, of course, when you have the energy, you have the vigor, all that is absolutely critical. Nutrition. And again, you're here, of course, because sometimes you're confused. You're not sure what to eat. You're not sure what not to eat. There's so much information, so many food gurus out there. And again, ultimately, if you want the 100-year heart, this is the place. We're Natural Heart Doctor, home of the 100-year heart. Now, what we're going to be talking about in this webinar is we're going to talk about why all these different food gurus are wrong. And I'm going to tell you why I believe our strategy is correct. And really because it makes common sense based on our hunter-gatherer ancestry. We're going to talk about what are the foods that are so just detrimental to your health. So again, and able to tell you again that these are the foods you definitely need to avoid, and then tell you the right foods to be eating. And that's what it's really about. Sometimes it's about not even focusing on the wrong foods, but focusing on incorporating the right foods and planning around that. So when you're eating all the right foods, you tend not to be hungry for the wrong foods. And we're going to give you some, top tips about fitting the right foods into your life. And then ultimately, I'm going to talk about a 4-week nutritional program that's perfect to support your 100-year heart. We'll talk about that, called Foundational Nutrition. So you'll want to stay tuned for what that is, because that package is just blowing people away. The course that the team at Natural Heart Doctor created. So in case you didn't know it, the gurus of medicine, they're talking about, this is 2020, right? This is headlines from the European Society of Cardiology. Poor diet is top contributor to heart disease deaths globally. Shocking revelation there, right? Poor diet is a top contributor. Wow. Where have these authors been when we're talking about nutrition for health? Again, nutrition is one of the major tenets, of course, that we have. So again, we talk about nutrition, we talk about optimal lifestyle, we talk about optimal thinking. This is all part of our eat well, live well, think well philosophy. So of course, poor diet is part of it. Now, they didn't say genetics, because genetics are not part of the equation. When we talk about eat well, live well, think well, again, genetics is not part of the equation. If someone tells you to blame genetics, they're wrong. If you're blaming your genetics, you're incorrect. Our genetics and our genes and our DNA are just about perfect. It's violations of eat well, live well, think well that mess it up. I know we'd like to blame it on somebody else sometimes, but the reality is that it's all on us, especially going forward. Okay. So again, what are the food, gurus, the poobahs, what are they recommending here? I mean, take a look at the food pyramid. So the food pyramid, where on the left-hand side, they've got the grains. That's the orange category there, the orange slice. Now, on what planet of delusion would the grain category be bigger than the vegetable category? That is only a food pyramid that could be created by big agriculture sponsors. It has to be by Kellogg's, Nabisco, Quaker Oats that put this together, where the grain category would be bigger than the vegetable category. And then the dairy category, but for the dairy category, again, which is a big slice as well, but they're talking about eat a lot of low-fat and fat-free dairy, which is dairy minus all the good stuff. It's minus all the nutrients. If you remove the fat from dairy, what do you have? You've got fortified white-colored water. Yet, if you try and feed a low-fat dairy product to a baby cow or to a baby human, they're not going to make it very long. That would be abuse. So we don't want to do that. So again, the dairy category here, I'm okay with raw dairy. We'll talk about that. They've got a little tiny area for oils here. Wait a second. I thought olive oil was one of the healthiest things. That's part of the Mediterranean diet. So why is that like a little slice, into here? And then, of course, they pay very scant attention to meat and seafood. But and if you look at the old food pyramid, which is on the right side of that picture, the foundation of that was the grain category. So again, this is, it's sad. It's really sad, because we've been telling people the wrong information for 50 plus years, and how many people have died and suffered needlessly because of this information. Okay, now if you think that your medical doctor is the right person to ask, about nutrition, you would be incorrect. Now, me personally, you would have been incorrect to ask me circa 2005. Well, since then, I've done tons of education in the nutritional realm and taking courses and advanced education, and of course, read a tremendous amount. And of course, wrote my Amazon best-selling book, The Paleocardiologist. But this is from JAMA 2019. This is fresh stuff. And Walter Willett is from the Harvard Department of Health, right? Nutrition Education and Practice, medical school residency training and practice. And their commentary was that as of 2019, they're not getting the education. So even though we know this is a major factor for health, so you say, what are these doctors getting educated in? Well, they're getting educated in disease. They're getting educated in pharmaceuticals. They're getting educated in surgery, and they're getting educated in hospital Band-Aid management, which is not where we need people for emergency situations. We need people and doctors there, but we need people to keep people out of the emergency rooms. So this is really important information that we need to understand, that we can't rely on the majority of medical doctors for their opinions. Of this, don't get trained. All right, so here's my top 5 foods to avoid. I am going to break these down. Don't forget that you're going to get a replay of this. You're welcome to take a screenshot. You're welcome to take notes on the top 5. I'm going to go through this. Number 1, though, and they're in no particular order, I guess, but let me say this. 1 is definitely at the top. You have to stay, again, pesticide produce is 1. Artificial ingredients, artificial colors, artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors is number 2. CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operations. I'll talk about that. Gluten is a major offender, the nasty protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. And then, of course, refined sugar. So if you get one takeaway out of tonight, guys, it's avoid the pesticide produce. What is pesticide produce? Well, any plant material sprayed with pesticides. It could be green leafy vegetables. It could be your fruit. It could be your nuts and seeds, avocados, coconuts. It could be beans. It could be rice. Whatever you're eating, one of my tenets of the food to eat, again, is going to be eating organic food. So no matter what diet you're on, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, carnivore, whatever you're doing, make sure you're getting organic food. Now, that, of course, means your food is non-GMO. Non-GMO, though, is not good enough, because even though it's not genetically modified food, it still could be heavily sprayed with pesticides. We're looking for organic food. Now, if it has the organic certification from the USDA, great. If you're talking to your local farmer and you're at a farmer's market and it's not certified organic, but you say, hey, what do you use for pesticides? Oh, well, we release bugs, we release butterfly, ladybugs, we release lizards and salamanders. We go by and we hand pick things. Again, we do different, crop rotations, different crop planting methods. That's good enough for me. That's what we want to look for. And again, we can see the data here. 2019, the Journal of the American Heart Association, 46% higher risk of cardiovascular disease in people with the highest pesticide exposure. Eat organic, eat organic, eat organic. We test people's levels of pesticides, and frankly, they are absolutely scary. Take a look at this study here. DDT, this is from January of 2022. So this is, again, less than a year old. DDT leads to diabetes and hypertension. DDT was banned in the United States in 1972. Now, foods shipped in from all around the world still contain DDT. Again, this is why we go organic, to try and minimize any kind of exposure with this. But in a sad state of affairs, even though it's banned 50 years later, we test a lot of people. They're high in DDT. And again, what DDT does is absolutely horrific. And what it does, including, what it does to the crops, what it does to the earth. And then there's even conversations and data that says that a lot of what we call polio was from DDT exposure. So more information about that if you're interested later. Artificial ingredients, number 2. Again, artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors, aspartame, acesulfame, sucralose. You can see this 2022. This just came out. British Medical Journal, again, one of the biggest medical journals in the world. And they found that artificial sweeteners markedly increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. So if you're using NutraSweet, Splenda, if you're putting it in your coffee, if you're putting it into recipes, whatever you're doing with that, you're much better off having real sugar. And we'll talk about the sugars that I recommend in the 5 foods that I do recommend. I'm going to throw that in there for that information to you. But again, this is September 2022. We posted about it on social media. A lot of news parties were talking about this as well. Again, British Medical Journal. No art. Read your labels. Read your labels. Read your labels. Number 3 in the list, CAFO, Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations, CAFOs. As you can see on the screen here, chickens. You cannot eat chicken from this kind of area, yet 98% of people who eat chicken, they're eating it from this, if not higher than 98%. When you go to any fast food place, you're likely getting this. When you go to any restaurant, you're likely getting this. These birds are being harvested. Their eggs are being collected. Somebody's eating them, I promise you. And it's quite possible you are, or someone that you love is eating these. Now, this isn't restricted to the birds. And of course, when the birds and the cows and the pigs and the sheep are in these kind of confines, again, disease is rampant. Therefore, antibiotics are necessary. The destruction to the environment of what this does, the stress that this puts on the animal, the pesticide-riddled, contaminated food that gets into their flesh. And when you eat that, it's getting into you. We cannot support this for our health. We cannot support this for the benefit of the animals and for the benefit of the planet. We can never eat this. If you are connected to me, you know that I never, ever, ever eat this kind of food, ever. And the more you never eat it, the healthier, again, you will be in so many different ways. Know where your food comes from. Number 4, gluten. So gluten is a teeny tiny protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. It makes bread fluffy and chewy. I was at a farmer's market a few years ago, and there was a French baker there, and he had these most beautiful French croissants. And I said, "Sir, is it possible that I can get a gluten-free croissant?" And he laughed and he said, "It's the gluten that makes the croissant. It's the gluten that gives it that chewy, sticky flavor, again, that texture. Sometimes they even add extra gluten into it." But the problem with gluten is it's not human food. It's a grain. It's a grass that needs to be heavily processed in order for humans to possibly be able to eat it. But what it does ultimately is that it causes leaky gut. Now, the extreme of this, of course, would be celiac disease. But there's a lot of what's called non-celiac gluten sensitivity, where, again, these food particles get in through the gut or the intestinal lining, get into the body, triggers the immune system. The immune system leads to inflammation and oxidative stress. Those are, of course, linked to heart attacks, strokes, cancer, dementia, Parkinson's, you name it. So the medical doctors know that inflammation and oxidative stress are bad, but there are therapies for it or pharmaceuticals. We march it backwards and say, okay, well, what's causing all this? And cause, again, is a improper nutrition, as we're talking about tonight. Cause is violations of eat well, live well, think well. And tonight we're essentially giving you some strategies about how to eat well. So again, there's, however old you are, relish your memories of eating gluten if you want to relish them, because it led to a lot of sickness, a lot of gut issues, skin issues. And again, if you had a heart attack, maybe gluten was a component. I assure you that it was. So let's just excommunicate gluten from our diet. There's some other tips and strategies for ways to enjoy bread and pasta and cereals that don't have gluten. Okay, number 5, refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. These are obvious. Again, sugar sweetened soda pops, beverages, different recipes, things that come in boxes. You know, again, this is all kind of like that white sugar, white flour. And then again, a major villain here is high fructose corn syrup. Sugar leads to diabetes. Again, many articles based on that. sugar in this refined state damages the immune system. It puts a coating on all of your different proteins. And we can talk about this as we measure what's called glycohemoglobin. That's one of the tests we do to determine if someone is truly diabetic. We measure their hemoglobin A1C, otherwise known as glycohemoglobin. And what we're measuring is the sugarification of the hemoglobin molecule, which, oh, by the way, delivers oxygen and carries carbon dioxide away from our cells and tissues. So that's pretty important. So as we look at the healthy strategies here, again, these are the things that we are looking to avoid. So again, we'll be able to, go through a lot of these comments into the chat box in here. People are asking some fantastic questions, and I promise I will make sure, to get to this data here. All right, so these are the 5 foods to eat. These are the 5 foods to eat. Seafood, pasture-raised animals, and again, embracing the organs. Sulfur-rich foods, we'll talk about that. Avocados, olives, and coconut, these kind of really high-fat plant foods. And then I'll talk about fruit and honey a little bit. So you can enjoy your food and enjoy your life, and we'll tell you how to do it. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, seafood. And here, that's just a beautiful salmon up there on the screen. This is JAMA way back in 2006, and they found that consumption of fish reduces coronary death by 36%, total mortality by 17%. We want to make sure we're eating seafood. People with the highest levels of omega-3s in their body, lowest risk of everything, lowest risk of dying, lowest risk of cancer, lowest risk of dementia, lowest risk of stroke, AFib, COVID. Everything is better when you eat more seafood. We're talking about wild salmon, sardines, anchovies. We're talking about occasional high-quality tuna. We're talking about shellfish, clams, oysters, shrimp, lobster, crab. There's a whole variety of seafoods that you could be eating. And again, we give a lot of that in our shopping guide that I'll tell you about inside of our foundational nutrition course. And then, of course, in our 41-page 100-Year Heart diet guide, that's in there as well, talking about the whole plethora of all these amazing foods that, again, will give you so many different options. So please be excited for that. Okay, here's a buffalo on the screen, and that buffalo or bison is loaded with nutrients. We're talking again about eating nose to tail nutrition, and we're talking about eating it from free-range grass-fed animals that were raised humanely and then sacrificed again for the benefit of our consumption. And we, talk a lot about organs. We have an organ product, as well. For those of you who won't eat organs, we've got you covered. We got it inside of a capsule, freeze dried. So again, ultimately, this is about eating healthy animals, and it's very important. And the author Michael Pollan talked about this again. It's very important to know, it's kind of like it's been said. You are what you eat, and it's you are what you ate. So if you're eating an animal that was fed GMO corn and GMO soy and GMO wheat sprayed with pesticides, you're eating all of that. If you're eating the flesh of an animal that lived its life under extreme stress, you're getting all that stress into you. If you're eating an animal that didn't see the sun and wasn't outside exercising and active as an animal should be, if you're eating an animal that was not raised as naturally as possible, that's just, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer from it. All right, number 3, foods high in sulfur. So sulfur is a beautiful atom, an element on the periodic table. If you remember back to high school and you saw carbon and oxygen and hydrogen, well, sulfur, was on there as well. And sulfur is a key component to make something called glutathione. Glutathione is the body's main antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Again, it's a very important molecule that we produce. So it stands to reason foods that are high in sulfur that therefore crank up levels of glutathione, this is a good thing. In addition, inside of all of the blood vessels is a layer called the endothelium that lines the blood vessels. And these finger-like projections that come off of that, kind of like seaweed in the water, if you will, that float around. These are all sulfur-based molecules. Not only is that in the blood vessels, which of course makes them super slick, but it's of course inside of the heart muscle. It's inside of the lungs. It lines the intestines. Sulfur is so wonderful, which is why these foods are so healthy. Everybody knows onions and garlic are healthy, and other things, that are in that category of the allium vegetables, leeks, etc. Brassica vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, those are all very high in sulfur, so beneficial there. Eggs, of course, that egg smell sometimes, that's a heavy dose of sulfur, that what you're getting. Nuts and seeds can be a fantastic source of sulfur. Don't forget, ideally, we're going to soak our nuts and seeds. So there's a way to prepare those. And again, we talk about that in our Foundation Nutrition program. Dairy is high in sulfur. Again, any kind of animal thing is going to be high in sulfur. So when it comes to dairy, again, I believe is more of a treat than it is a major nutrient. Some people do very well with it, but the joke of the matter is, if you're going to do it, you can't do low fat dairy that has all the good stuff removed. All the fat contains all the high quality polyunsaturated fatty acids, monounsaturated fatty acids, saturated fatty acids, all the high quality proteins that are in there, the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, K. If you remove the fat, you're removing all that, and you're removing all the digestibility to get those nutrients into the body. And we don't want to remove that. We want to do that. We want to eat sulfur-rich foods like raw dairy if we do it. And then again, ultimately, all animal, all seafood. And that's where we push the organs as well, because of course the organs will be very high in liver. If you want a healthy liver, eat liver. If you want a healthy heart, eat heart, so on and so forth. Little bonus strategy, that Pellegrino water is the single highest source of sulfur in a beverage. So that is another kind of one of our secret strategies that we do with Pellegrino water. So check that out. Foods that are high in sulfur. So remember, it's not even so much about what to avoid. It's a matter of, if you're eating these 5 foods, there's not room left over really for the bad stuff. So if you focus on all these good things, the bad stuff just starts to kind of fall away, which is a beautiful thing. Okay. Everybody knows, that avocados are just super healthy. I sometimes call it the avocardio, high in all those high quality fats, proteins, also very high in magnesium, potassium. The avocado is very high in vitamin C. It's also rich in fiber. It's a fantastic source of fiber. So we try and sneak in an avocado on a daily basis. People often ask, what's for breakfast? Well, instead of oatmeal, why don't you have eggs and avocado, salmon and avocado, liver and avocado, just an avocado. Any of these things you see on the screen there, coconut. I love coconut. I love coconut for breakfast. I love coconut flakes, olives. The Mediterranean diet that is so high in olive oil, that's the best studied diet in the world, is the Mediterranean diet. And they are just passing out jars and huge containers of olive oil, to people, and they do very, very well with it. So, and unfortunately, back to coconut. Coconut was so vilified because of its saturated fat. Meanwhile, there's islands in the South Pacific where the people there, their diet consists of 50% of coconut-based products. I assure you, the beautiful coconut you see on the screen in no way, shape, or form could possibly lead to sickness. It can only lead to health. So embrace all of these high-fat foods. The people who tell you low-fat and the low-fat gurus from the 70s, do not listen to them. Fat is your friend. Fat is your fuel. Fat is a beautiful thing. Fat leads to you being thin. Carbs lead to you being fat. When you want to make a cow fat in the Midwest, you load them full of corn and other high carb grains. If you want to have a healthy cow, you feed the cow grass. That's what cows eat. And this is what humans eat. So please enjoy all that as well. And then finally, fruit. I love seasonal fruit. Fruit can be a little bit easy to overdo, so be careful. But on the screen there, you see a variety of berries. You see mango, you see pineapple, you see some plums in there. That alone can be your breakfast. And especially if you match it up with something that's a little higher fat too, it'll be a little bit more satiating. So if you were to do avocado with fruit, that would be a fantastic strategy. Again, coconut, putting coconut oil into this mixture as well, that would be a very good strategy. And then also, if you're going to use a sweetener, use raw honey. Raw honey is loaded with vitamins and minerals. When you get high quality stuff, there's the health benefits of that. And I'm okay, again, so enjoy, raw honey. Again, we want to be careful not to overdo it, especially if we're trying to lose weight. We want to keep our consumption of these down. But once we get to that perfect weight, then again, these foods are absolutely fantastic for us. A lot of times too, I'll do some dried fruit. And again, we need to be careful with that. But oftentimes if I make a breakfast cereal, what I'll do is I'll do dried coconut flakes. I'll do some nuts and seeds. I'll do some raw cacao nibs. And then I'll make my own nut milk, or I'll use a raw dairy. And then maybe I'll add in, some, I'll take a date or two and I'll rip up the dates and I'll put that in there. It gives a little bit of sweets and stuff like that. We're good to go with that. So don't forget, stay into the end because I'm going to answer all these questions on here. You're asking some fantastic questions, everybody, and we'll get through all of that as we go along. Okay. And then here's a bonus strategy. Again, I guess I can refer to myself tonight as the coffee cardiologist, and this is cardiology coffee. Drink organic coffee. Coffee drinkers have less heart attacks, less strokes, less high blood pressure, less AFib, less heart failure, less diabetes, less obesity, less dementia, and coffee drinkers live longer. And can you imagine the benefits of drinking the best stuff? So this is a fantastic strategy as well. And maybe your breakfast is cup of black coffee with MCT oil or raw cream. Different strategies you can do with that. Butter, ghee. Those are also, again, strategies that you can do. And those are the foods we're talking about here. So, again, it's very clear that food can be medicine. We often talk about food as medicine, and that's true. And food can be poison. Food can be medicine. Food can be poison. So choose it to be medicine, and therefore you won't have to take the pharmaceutical medicine. So there we go with that. Making the right choices now, of course, is more critical than ever. There's so much sickness going on in the world. There's so much health problems with our children, with grandchildren. It's more critical than ever. The world is a more polluted place than ever. There's more environmental toxins, mold mycotoxins. And, unfortunately, we've got a lot of catching up to do because maybe when we were in our mother's womb, our mother didn't eat that well. Maybe we weren't fed that well as a baby. Maybe we were given antibiotics. Maybe we were given a lot of pesticide foods. It's more important than ever to make the right choices. So please do so. And again, it's time to eat your way to your 100-year heart. It's time to do that, and the time is now. So I want to tell you about a program that I want you to look into, and we call this the Natural Heart Doctor Foundational Nutrition Course. It is a 4-week program that is your jumpstart into the nutritional wellness space. Now you see some of the guides you get in here. I want to show you these beautiful guides that were created by the team at Natural Heart Doctor. You've got your foundational recipes. You've got your 100-year heart diet. That's a 40-page guide. You got these mini meal recipes where you get the 21 snacks and 7 bonus desserts. Look how beautiful that food looks on there. Again, you got that gorgeous salmon. You got some vegetables. Got some chia seeds into there. You got some some of the fruit that we love. And again, I'll tell you more about this course, but again, the course is really perfect for anyone. If you want to get healthy, if health is a top priority, you want to, this course, this information is for you. If you're tired of the confusion that surrounds diet and nutrition, we're going to break it down. We're going to make it super simple for you. We're going to give you these common sense approaches. So you're going to have a good understanding, again, of what to eat and what not to eat. We'll tell you about the best foods to fuel your body, not only your heart, but fueling your brain, fueling your immune system, fueling your cells and your mitochondria, all of it. And again, if you're here because you want cardiac longevity, you want that 100-year heart, you want to be around for your family, for your friends, you want to dance at that wedding, you want to make that hike, you just want to walk around without having aches and pains, you want to be able to fit into your clothes, you want to be able to get out into society just to even live, and you want to get away from going to the doctor all the time, and you want to get off pharmaceuticals. Again, this is a must-have course for anyone seeking to build this nutrition foundation, and that's who this is for. Now, this, when you buy into the program, you're going to see this login screen here. And what you're going to see is this getting started area where there's all these beautiful downloads, some of which I showed you. And again, we've got the 100-year heart diet download. We've got the foundational nutrition journal. So we guide you through how you record the things you're eating while you're in this 4-week program. Okay, again, you're also going to get the recipe guides, the dessert guides, and then also a 9-page shopping guide. And the shopping guide contains all the foods you should be eating. So when you go to the grocery store, you got your list and you search them out. And some of these foods you never will have eaten before. But in the recipe guide, they're all in the recipes. Now, sometimes what I'll do is, again, like a radicchio lettuce, which is that purple lettuce. It's a head of lettuce. I'll pick it up at the grocery store and I'll eat it like it's like somebody else was eating an apple. So you can do it that way, or you can put it into some beautiful recipes. So on the left-hand side, again, you can see top left where it talks about where you are as far as the completion of the course. It talks about these 5 foundational things you're going to get in the beginning. And then you've got a 4-week strategy that you're going to want to do it slowly over 4 weeks, because there's a lot to unpack here. Now, the course is yours for the life of the course. You don't have to rush through it. It doesn't expire after 4 weeks. This is yours. You can always refer back to it. You can talk to your family about this, talk to your friends about this. And this is really, again, just that so ever important foundation that so many people are missing. And hey, if you're a medical doctor and you're listening to this, take this course. If you have not received nutrition training, take this course, because this is the information. Now, this is one of those particular weeks. This happens to be week 4. And essentially, again, you've got 4 weeks of all this information that we make it really digestible, pun intended. We make it digestible for you. And we give you these daily reminders. We give you more information than just nutrition, because, we're talking about, again, things, symptoms of that you're maybe having, signs that you're not eating the right foods, how you really can monitor your body. We do provide questions every week, where again, it's like a quiz to make sure that you're staying on track. We got some bonus material. And of course, we got videos by our naturopathic medical doctor, Lauren Latanza. So you'll get that information as well. So again, there's 4 weeks just like this. And during those 4 weeks, we focus on a variety of things. So we focus on, 1 week is on brain, 1 week is on heart, 1 week is on cells, 1 week is on gut. So we really get into this. This is such a beautiful, beautiful course. So here's what you get. Again, you're going to get the 41-page diet guide, the functional nutrition journal. You get the 31-page recipe guide with all the recipes in there, 21-page mini meals and desserts, the functional nutrition shopping guide, which is just priceless. 4 weeks of educational materials, videos, and success trackers to making sure you're on track. And then, of course, you got the support from the Natural Heart Doctor coaches. So don't forget about that as well. And here's what it is. It's only $97. I promise you the value is there. The price will go up in the future because the value is there. When you pay money for something like this, you'll do the program and you will be successful. I promise. Guaranteed, or your money back. Get into the course. Check it out. See how amazing it is. It's a money back guarantee on this. We give you, again, 7 days. Review it. Make sure it's right for you. If you think we didn't deliver you the value, hey, it's okay. No harm, no foul. I'm here to help you. My team is here to help you. We created something that is spectacular. If you don't find the value in this, I will be absolutely positively shocked on this. So all you got to do is click the Learn More button. That'll open up another window and you'll be able to learn more about this program. The time to do it, of course, is now. You cannot wait another day without arming yourself with this information. So please do. It's only $97. We priced it very low so everybody can get in. The people who have been in there, they're loving it. They're loving the information. And when I saw what my team put together for this program, I was just, again, to use the same metaphor again, I was just blown away by what, and again, all this stuff that I helped that guy with, he lost 300 pounds, and all that information that I unfolded and unpacked into him, this is the culmination of this from many years ago. This is something that, had I had something like this to give to patients, to offer to patients years ago, I would have saved a lot of people from a lot of sickness, and I would have saved a lot of people from dying. To me, this is a perfect gift for yourself, for someone that you love who needs this kind of information. So please take advantage of this offer. Don't go through the holiday season without this information. Don't go into 2023 without this information. You're going to love everything in there. And there we go. Okay. So I'm going to get into the chat box. I'll answer questions as it relates to food. Let's try and stick to food. If you've got questions about the course, feel free. The link to click there is right there. You can go do that at any time. And again, if for some reason you say, you know what, this course is not what you promised it to be, then again, just email us and your money back within that 7-day window of purchase. So again, check it out. See if it works for you. This is a self-guided thing. So we do not want you to try and run through this in like 2 or 3 days. This is a 4-week program. So we want you to take 4 weeks to go through it. You download all the foundational things, those 5 things. So you've got that. You can print all that stuff out. All of this stuff you can print out, and you can print it out, and you can have it. And again, access is yours for the life of this program. So Pat says, can we start this program anytime we want? Yes, you can definitely start it whenever you want. But again, the sooner, the better. Okay. Is stevia also a bad artificial sweetener, Brian? No, stevia I think is okay. I've seen people with hormonal issues. I'm not a big promoter of stevia. Somebody else asked about monk fruit. I would prefer monk fruit over stevia. And Michelle says, my mother is 79, diagnosed with an enlarged heart. Is it too late? No, it's never too late. Is it too late for someone to quit smoking? No. People who quit smoking live longer than those who don't. At any age, there is, the older you are, the more important it is to start this ASAP. Marcia says, glyphosate, is that the real problem with gluten? Glyphosate's a problem, and gluten is the problem. Organic wheat still troubles many, many people. If you're bent on eating wheat, yeah, sure, make sure it's organic. But again, it's not the glyphosate alone. The glyphosate's bad, the gluten is bad. And again, that's clear in the medical literature. So again, people are asking about monk fruit. I'm cool with that. And let's see here. Decaf coffee has some of the same benefits, may not have all the benefits. Again, more research is done on regular coffee as opposed to decaf. Lynn Rhodes, dry your own fruits and vegetables. Totally. We got a freeze dryer. I love freeze dryers. We have a freeze dryer. We freeze dry our organs. We freeze dry fruits. We had a big peach season here in Colorado. And now it's, again, like towards the apple season, end of apple season. And we've freeze dried all of those. So there you go. Typically CAFO animals are injected with all kind of hormones, all kind of vaccines, all kinds of chemicals. Rebecca's talking about plastics in fish. Plastic is definitely an issue. It tends to be in the much bigger fish as opposed to the smaller fish. But, we do test people's BPA levels, which would be a measure of plastic. It's not coming from the fish. BPA is not coming from the fish. So do not be concerned about that. Again, when you're eating wild fish, the benefits far outweigh the risk. The whole planet's destroyed. I mean, listen, even organic cabbage has pesticides rained on, all over it. So there you go. Lentils, not a fan. What are your thoughts on lectin-free diets? I think that the lectin-free diet is certainly popular. When you follow a lot of our tenets, you tend to be lower on the lectin scale. But again, some people would say cucumbers are high in lectins. I love cucumbers. I think they're fantastic. I don't have a problem with eating, that. So I'm not a big fan of the low lectin diet. I'm a fan of hunter-gatherer, Mother Nature. That's what I'm a fan of. And we came across a cucumber plant in ancestral days. We're eating it. So I'm not worried about the lectins. Carol doesn't like seafood. Well, I wish you would. I wish you would start liking it. I didn't like it at first. I was kind of born into eating seafood. My parents were healthy seafood eaters, but I wouldn't say that I liked liver when I first started eating it, or heart when I first started eating it. Sometimes we got to put on our big girl pants or big boy pants and do what's best for our health. So there you go. Patrice Smith, again, you guys are, you, Marv, you're just doing so well by eating all the right foods. Thank you so much. And there we go there. Let me get into some of the Q&A here. What if I can't start the program for 3 months after I buy it? Well, again, it does have a 7-day window of the money back guarantee. So Lynn, I guess all I can tell you is you can start it in 3 months, but the money back guarantee will not be available to you. We have to pull the limit at some point on that. But listen, for $97, start it in 3 months. You'll be a brand new person. I don't know why you have to delay. That's up to you. Better to start things now. If you're traveling, get the list of the foods you can eat and the foods you can't eat. The way to eat while you're traveling is absolutely critical as well. Troy is asking thoughts on oatmeal. Again, I'm not an oatmeal fan. It's not ancestral food. Again, big ag, big box nutrition. They promote a lot of oatmeal. Is it better if you eat, steel cuts versus Quaker oats, heavily processed? Probably. If you eat oatmeal, you want to make sure it's gluten-free. I just don't think it's a top nutritional food. I'm not saying it's the worst food in the world. I'm just saying it's not a top nutritional food. Why would I choose to eat oatmeal for breakfast when I can eat eggs? Why would I choose to eat oatmeal for breakfast when I can have liver or bacon or avocado or olives or a fruit? Why would I eat oatmeal? I'm not buying into that propaganda. I'm not eating it. Again, it's not the worst food in the world, but it's certainly not the best. So why wouldn't I want to feed my body the best? If you want to have occasional oatmeal, fine, but don't tell me you're eating oatmeal every single day for breakfast. Oh, it's great in fiber and it binds up all my cholesterol. Maybe you don't want to bind up all your cholesterol. Maybe we reabsorb our cholesterol. The body has that what's called the enterohepatic circulation, where we reabsorb all the cholesterol that we put into our gut. Maybe that's a good thing. So again, oatmeal, not a fan. I'm not a fan of the taste of it. I mean, just plain oatmeal by itself. I mean, if I'm going to eat oatmeal, I got to load it with fruit. I got to load it with honey. I got to load other stuff in there. Just not a fan. And I'll tell you this for an example too. If I were to try and feed my 22-month-old daughter oatmeal, she'll spit it out. She's got no interest. If I hand her some freeze-dried liver, she's all in. I make her eggs, she's in. I give her avocado, she's in. If I give her a jar of olives, again, she's going to eat it. So there you go. Again, 3 eggs every morning, cholesterol in the 200s. Tamara, your cholesterol may be perfect. I'm not worried about that. Get advanced testing, ApoB, ApoA ratios, LP little a, markers of inflammation. Let's start with that. Are people with SVT typically sensitive to coffee, caffeine? Most are not. If you don't like the way you feel on caffeine or coffee, don't drink it. If you do like it, enjoy the health benefits. What else? Frozen fruits and avocados still contain the nutrients. Yes. They do. If you need to go that route, that's perfectly fine. Lee Neal recently saw an article about omega-3 supplements contributing to AFib. Again, when you give unhealthy people omega-3s, you may not get the results you desire. It all starts with a foundation of eat well, live well, think well. And then from there, when you take a good quality multivitamin and other supplements as part of that foundational supplements program, and then you add in a high quality fish oil, you'll be in a good place. I question a lot of these studies. I think they're designed to fail and keep us away from the healthy, good stuff. Can an unhealthy gut also lead to high cholesterol? Certainly, abnormal cholesterol happens when we have leaky gut. And now the immune system kicks in, inflammation, oxidative stress, the cholesterol particles, LDLs, they're all involved in all of that. So when they're elevated, it's a response to the body being injured. So let's fix all of that. Seafood allergy, supplement with fish oil or krill oil. Yeah, okay, again, I mean, that's, sometimes though, I mean, some of these allergies, they're not from the seafood, they're from the other foods. And when you clean up your diet, that a lot of these allergies goes away. We can certainly help with that. Okay, so again, somebody in here was saying on TikTok, you said number one food to avoid was oats. Again, I didn't say it was the number one food to avoid. Again, number one food to avoid is pesticide food. That's for sure. The foods that I said are the number one things to avoid. Oats are on my list of things to avoid and or to minimize, but it's not the number one food. Diane says no mention of seed oils. Yeah, seed oils again, cottonseed oil, some of the other, obviously soybean oil, some of those other oils that are very high in omega-6s. We need to be careful with that. But I'm not total. I mean, grapeseed oil is known to be very healthy. And again, that's grapeseed oil. Avocado oil is again, that's seed. So there are, black cumin seed oil. That's been used by the Egyptians for thousands of years. So this whole thing that's negative about seed oil, I'm not really buying into it. But what we need to do is make sure that we're getting a lot of omega-3s from seafood to balance off the omega-6s. It's not about totally avoiding omega-6s. We want the balance, omega-3s. We want the omega-6s. We want the monounsaturated fats or oils from olive oil. And we want to get saturated fats from eating coconuts and also what's found in animal products. And don't forget, everything that contains fat has all of those things: monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats, omega-3s, omega-6s, and then also saturated fats. Nothing is a standalone oil from that stuff. Jan is asking about brown rice. Again, it's okay to have, rice on occasion. It is gluten-free. It's okay, especially, obviously, it's got to be organic. But so, again, jump into, it's okay to have occasional rice. I'm fine with that. Again, Lynn, I know you're not worried about the money back guarantee. But again, we will have this up here. This is just spectacular. And my goal as a physician, and remember, doctor means to teach. My goal as a physician, a doctor, a teacher is to get this information into as many hands as possible and save millions and millions of people's lives. And the more we can get this into the children, the more we can get this information into our grandchildren, the more we can get this into the world, the more we have the restaurants that cater to this kind of eating, the more we vote with our dollars, the better off it's going to be as well. So So there you go. Again, we'll be doing emails on this, as well. So you'll be able to access, more information about this as well. Where do you recommend we buy our wild caught seafood? What I recommend you do is go to naturalheartdoctor.com/seafood. Eat the seafood. Will the program help with high blood pressure? I'm not going to guarantee your blood pressure is going to drop, but I'm going to guarantee this is one of the best possibilities of your blood pressure dropping. Again, by eating the right foods, your blood pressure is very, very likely to improve. So there you go. Ezekiel bread, not a fan. Brian, what do you eat when you're traveling and have to buy food? Again, so, Brian, what I do personally is when I travel, I take some food with me. I'll take some of my food powders with me. And then I scope out restaurants and grocery stores wherever I'm traveling to. Because I'll tell you something about myself, my wife, my family. If we travel somewhere and we're not prepared food for the 4 kids, and we don't have some options, again, for my wife who's breastfeeding, she gets very hangry. She gets very upset. So I need to make sure that we find all the restaurants. And what's beautiful about it is that we support those restaurants. We support those grocery stores. And again, I will tell you in all sincerity, to the best of my knowledge over the last 17 years, that I have never had a CAFO animal. I only eat free-range grass-fed animal products. I only eat organic foods. I do not compromise. And my father died at the age of 63 of a Parkinson's-like illness. I don't want to die. I'm 51. I want to be around for my kids, my grandkids. I do want to go mountain biking and kayaking and skiing. And I want to stay active. I want my brain to be active, my heart to be active, my joints to be active. That's what we're talking about here. Marvin said bacon, and I said yes. Bacon, pasture-raised, healthy foods. Denise, husband's diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, advised to eat low protein. Wrong. Do not avoid the proteins. Again, you can go higher fat, but I wouldn't necessarily be avoiding proteins. So there's other things that can support healthy kidneys, okay? Tom LaRocca, I have PVC, so caffeine is okay. Again, caffeine sometimes makes PVCs better. Sometimes PVCs can get worse. See what works for you. Are the recipes nightshade free? I would say for the most part, yes. You'll have to see. There may have been a couple recipes that sneaked in there that would be classified as nightshades, but it's certainly not going to be much. It's not really much as far as our diet's concerned. I'm not a huge avoider, especially of nightshades. If you want to say like peppers and eggplant and stuff like that, I don't really avoid those. I think they're for the most part okay, unless for sure you notice that it's a problem. Susan and Don are in. Awesome. We're getting a lot of people who are signing up. Pat, you can start the program anytime you want. For the millionth time, I'm going to say, do it. Do it. Priscilla did the 21-day Happy Heart Diet. This program is totally different, much more comprehensive. The 21-day Happy Heart Diet was great because it incorporated fasting. This program does not incorporate fasting. This is something different. And again, that is more of like that 21-day where it's live and it's coach guided and it's interaction. This is something that's different. You'll find some similarities, but also a lot of differences. And we're just giving away so much in the ways like updated guides, updated recipe books, and again, the videos that Dr. Latanza created are absolutely spectacular. All right, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. I'm going to stop. Fantastic that you guys are here. We've got hundreds of people who are on the call, thousands of people who signed up for the program. And again, I think you're going to love it. I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist, natural heart doctor, wishing you the best as always, you, your family on your way to the 100-year heart. And we will see you next time. I do want to say this too, is that if you do get the course and you sign up, you do have to, you'll get a link that has you create an account with Thinkific, and Thinkific is where this course is stored. Super easy, beautiful interface. Anybody can do it. If you've got problems, which you won't, if you do, email us. We're here to make this as stress-free and as easy as possible for you. But again, when you buy the course, expect an email and again, you have to sign up for Thinkific, create an account, super simple. And then boom, you're in, you got access to your course. And again, you're going to be blown away. Everybody, thank you. We'll see you next time.